Hey guys, it's Ricky with Techbud Solutions. So sorry for running a little late. Right now we are running 4 minutes behind, but let's go ahead and get into it. So just for you guys that don't know, the market, at least for the U.S. Stock exchange, is going to be closed tomorrow, which is going to be Labor Day. Um, and yeah, I was actually thinking of maybe doing the Sunday stock talk and changing it to Labor Day, but most likely you guys are going to be with your family and stuff like that, and probably won't be able to make it. Yeah, so thank you guys again for taking some time away from your Sunday night and joining us in a sense. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me in any social media application. If you guys have my number, then you guys can text me. And yeah, I'd love to be able to answer them. So let's just go ahead and get ready. Um, for this week to come. So last week we did pretty good. We had just different stocks that are riding. Rex hit a 52-week low, hitting lows of like 53.3, and it just kept staying very low. Ended up picking up and then dropping back down, and that was one that I traded. ICLD ended up getting delisted. And there was just XCOM. We predicted it. It was brought to us by Brandon, one of our traders, and we predicted, that break at 56. It was like an unknown margin. Once it broke 56, hit highs of 95 that day, and it was crazy. It was over 50%, possibility for profit on XCOM. But there's just multiple areas of opportunity that I found that momentum trading is something that, like, if I can predict the break and I see the break happening, pretty much what I noticed that I could do is, okay, I mean, like, everyone sees the break, right? They're all buying in, buying in, buying in. Where do you know? I mean, us being day traders understand where a good buy area would be. So by understanding where the resistance would be for the next, or for the next level of trading. So by knowing where the new resistance is going to be, as long as you're 10% below that resistance, ride it up. Now that you know where the resistance is at, ride it up, buy in, ride it up with the momentum, and then sell at that resistance level. So that's kind of like the edge up we have on just the average just investor, is really understanding the resistance levels and kind of just doing technical analysis on certain stocks. So like XCOM, we saw that there was a resistance at 60, and like we said, hit 60 and struggled a little bit, and then it passed it, and then by that, we could have sold at 60. See that it's passing 60. Saw that at 72 there's another resistance, rode it up to 72, and then sell there, and then see that it continued to go up, and then overall the resistance was around 95 cents. Just by understanding these different levels of trading, we can pretty much ride it up every single way. So I mean, that would have been 4-day trades, which is not acceptable when it comes to trading with Robinhood. But there's different things you guys can do if you guys are trading with a larger account. Then and you guys see that type of potential, you guys can open a Fidelity, a Schwab account, TD Ameritrade. There's a bunch of different brokerage companies that do charge commission, but I would say with Robinhood, just get the basics down. Just learn the basics of trading. Shoot for that 10%. Don't hold overnight, and want to stay disciplined and kind of utilize your strategies to your advantage, and you see a good success rate, then that's when you can fund your account a little bit more every week, every month, whenever you get paid, and slowly start growing your account. So eventually you'll be trading with like 5, 10, 20, 30, $40,000, and you're still shooting for that 10% profit margin. But now you're having days that are 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5, $6,000 profit per day, and you're living well with the same idea, same concept. It just takes a long time to grow an account and to grow that type of like just discipline on sticking to the basics. And we kind of have to be like computers, very systematic when it comes to trading, because it's just very repetitive. But that's really what's going to lead to your success, because like they say, I mean, the stock market is it's the transfer of money from the inpatient to the patient. That is, I guess, what Warren Buffett said. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to do a couple technical analysis. I do want to end it around the 9:30 to 9:35 mark, just so we stick to schedule, since I ran a little bit behind. So I'm going to log into my Fidelity account. Fidelity is what I use as my brokerage company to do my technical analysis, as well as it's one of my brokerage companies that holds a little bit more of my money. But I also have a TD Ameritrade, I have a Robinhood, and I use different platforms for different things. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me. You guys can message me on GroupMe, Facebook. Comment below if it allows you to. And there's been something that we've been kind of noticing. So for those that don't know what I use to trade, so I use Robinhood to execute my trades, and Robinhood is solely just on your phone, so they don't have a desktop platform yet. I use, again, Fidelity as my technical analysis platform, and then I use TD Ameritrade as my live platform, as they have more of a, it changes according to the red and the green of whatever the prices are. So it's a live platform. So it's constantly changing, which means I don't have to refresh it myself. So I have 3 different devices. Usually when I trade, I have my phone, I have my alerts ready. So when I have people over and I trade with them, I try to be a little bit more active. But honestly, when I trade, I try to stick to 1 to 2 stocks. I set my alerts. And I just trade according to the alerts. If they don't trigger and they're not at the price range that I'm wanting to buy, then I do not buy. This or last week was a little bit different. I tried a little bit more of momentum trading. Kind of was trying to go with the hype, but I was trying to do it, the smart way, as in understanding what I was trading, knowing where to buy, where to sell, and where to sell in case the price starts to drop. And it was kind of stressful, so I'm going to try it again this week, see if I can get a little bit better at it. If not, then I'll just go back to my old strategy. The first week I was at 100% success rate. This week I ended up being in the 80s to the 70s. So obviously the other way works a little bit better, but with the momentum trading, I saw an overall larger profit margin. So I was able to write it up a little bit longer, but definitely still want to continue shooting for that 10%. One that I did end up trading was TRKK. TRKK hit a 52-week low at like 28 cents. I mean, not 28 cents, 0.028 cents. And that was a 52-week low. It held very, very strong there. People weren't willing to sell. Like when you looked into the depth, people weren't willing to sell at that price range. So I knew it was going to start picking up. I bought in, then sold at 35, or 3.5 cents. And then with that, I hit around a 20% profit margin. So trading with around $1,000, I was able to bring in $100 minus $200 minus commissions. And then another one that I wanted to talk about. So pretty much I'm going to focus on the biggest movers. I'm going to focus on Rex. I'm going to focus on XCOM because of what it did. I'm going to focus on 2 that I think that this week will be pretty much good stocks to look out for, as it could either continue dropping down or it could really pick back up. Rex is definitely one of those. And that I want you guys to ask me any questions that you guys might have on any specific stock, but it looked like a lot of companies just ended up closing in the green, which doesn't usually happen, obviously, when it's over the weekend, because they like to pull out their money for the weekend. But I don't know, something about Labor Day weekend, or if that played a role in that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, so this is my watch list, and as you can see, a lot of companies ended up closing in the green. So if you see all these companies on my watch list that closed in the green, there's only a few that closed in the red, right? This one, I guess, to just stayed even, but all these closed in the red, and then all these closed in the green. One that I was talking about, TRKK, closed at 25% profit margin. SKLN, huge trading or huge momentum for this one last week. It went from 8 cents all the way to highs of 27 cents. So hit over 100% profit. This one's mainly, I think, hype. It's about a big merger that they're not going to release until the following week. or at least they're not going to confirm it. So expect for this one to drop from 18 cents, hopefully back to like 12 to 10, and then we can write it back up if they confirm the merger. And at least now we know the resistance and the safety nets around that area. Um, BAS was also quite a market mover, so we'll go ahead and click on that. Let's see it load. I have them all right here. SPU is pretty much a big name when it comes to penny stocks now. So it has a lot of ups and downs. I'd say after 1 to 2 days of it holding up, kind of try to stay away from it. It tends to pick back down. So those that usually trade it, write it back down and then it rides back up. So after 1 to 2 days of continuous, increases, then just know that most likely it's going to drop, rise back up, drop, rise back up, drop, rise back down. This is too much of a hype for me. I'm going to stay away from it overall. But yeah, that's just me. CIE, this was the unknown area. This is one that I traded from 83 cents, rode it back to 97 cents. I locked in 14% profit, and then the following day it ended up breaking. So this is the unknown area that we talked about, as it's this is a critical point right around that 110 mark. So it's touch 110 and came back down, touch 110 and came back down. So it's kind of like gearing up, and I guess the volume and everything was just right. Past the 110, spike back up to where it used to trade, and that is pretty much what happened with XCOM. So I'm going to see if I can pull XCOM up. Let's just go ahead and put XCOM. Okay. Let's go into a 10-day analysis. I'm going to hide this. Sorry about that. Obviously, it's had those big spikes, and then bleeds back down to this usual area right there, and then pretty much understanding that there was a resistance, as you can see right here, around that 90-cent mark, and there's just different resistance, like we were saying, at that 70, 80 cents. It looks like at every even number or just a flat zero number that it would have a resistance. So at 56, it was just a really struggling pretty much for all day on the 31st, then September 1st, struggled all day to pass it, and then the volume was just right. Stock twist, they were talking about that it's gonna pass, it's gonna pass, it's gonna pass. Screw what they're all saying. Really, just wait for it to break, and when it breaks, just understand where a good area to sell is. And one of our traders were able to write it up all the way up to 82 cents from 55, just because they thought this was a safety net right around that 54-cent mark or 53-cent mark. Wrote it up and ended up going for the break. So we actually saw it like live break 60, then 66, then 70, then 75, 80, 82. So that was really cool to be able to see that. I was stuck on rec, so wasn't able to trade that one. But I'd say pretty much look for those critical points. So we can pretty much draw a safety right here, as we could tell based on its history, right? But also know that, look, if it does drop below this, then it's going to most likely drop, down here. Ended up staying, just upward momentum. I broke the resistance, like we were saying, around 56. Once it broke that, volume went crazy. First resistance that we were looking at was right around that 68-cent mark, which is exactly where it caught. And then volume was crazy after that. Next one was around 80. Next one was around 90. Hit highs of 95 or 94. And yeah, so it's just really cool being able to see our members write it up, and just being able to predict these upward shoots in a sense. Let's go ahead and take a look at IMUC. IMUC, if I'm not mistaken, this one has a lot of talk about just getting delisted. I would be sure to, keep a close eye on this one. It's getting too low for me. And it looks like it has a safety at 11 cents, it has a resistance right around 13 cents. So you definitely do have that 10% profit margin, but all day on the second just held at 12 to 12.5, which isn't your 10%. So just make sure that the volume is right. Make sure you don't get stuck and waste the day trade on that because you don't want to hold that one overnight. SDRL. This one's pretty. Let's take a look at this. Let me update the graph. Looks like there's a safety right around that area. It's pretty high. Wait for it to come back down around. Let's see what that is. So lows of 231. Looks like it's trading now in the second level. So if we can draw different levels of trading, this would be one. Drop below, broke it, went back up here. This is level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. Looks like it trades within every 5-cent increment. So with that, just know your ins and your outs. But yeah, it doesn't look like it picks up too much. Looks like it's hitting an overall safety, and then you can ride it back up. But I'd say just keep your eye on STRL. If the volume is right, then that's definitely one to look out for. This one had a pretty big spike over the week. Was trading at lows of like 55, I think, and then within the last 10 minutes of closing, just spiked up to 64. I remember specifically I was driving and just saw like different alerts on my phone get triggered. Um, Hit a 52-week low, or not a 52-week low, but just hit a low. The 52-week low was around 50 cents. Hit 55, was holding really strong around 55, and then just broke it, and is now sitting around the area of 59 cents, a little bit below that. There we go. Yeah, just holding right below it. Pretty much gonna start bleeding back down. Just be careful. As you know where the good buy-in areas and the good sell points are. So right now, I think this would be a get better sell point. If it breaks 60 cents, then that could be a better buy-in area. As now it's in a different level of trading. But make sure you stay disciplined and not hold overnight. As PTX just continues to go on that downward spiral. Term is also one that we are having or keeping an eye out for. So this one, yeah, 52-week low. Just looks like it continues to drop. Yeah, it looks like there's a safety at 15 cents, and it started to rise. So if it continues to show upward momentum, just know when it passes 16 that you could sell around the 17 to 18 cents, as 18 as an overall, old safety, which means it's a new resistance level. So just set your alerts according to, I'd set my alerts at ETRM, right around that 16-cent mark on when it passes 16, or at the 15-cent mark if it goes below 15 cents. And yeah, just it continues to just go down continuously. So this is definitely not a hold. Let's see if it ends up breaking. No, continue to drop. So when we talked about last week, yep, broke it, but still staying pretty strong. So gonna wait for the break at 20 cents, and when it does end up breaking 20, um, gonna shoot for 22, as that's an overall safety net or resistance level, as you can see here. This is definitely one to look out for. I'd set your alerts on when it passes 20 cents or if it continues to drop. Volume is way too low on that. Bass, this one's too crazy. Volume isn't always there. Um, I'm personally going to stay away from this one. Looks like it's holding above 45 cents, but just has these huge drops that really don't seem predictable, just because it's more of a true penny stock. So I'm going to stay away from this one. LPCN is one that I do want to talk about. Has an overall safety net, pretty strong safety net, right around that 330 mark. So let's go ahead and draw that in. So at 330, there's a very strong safety net. As you can see, it continues to get real close, pick back up, get real close, pick back up, starting to almost plateau. So wait for that break as hits 330 and then spikes back up like it did a couple months ago, as it hit 330, and then just went on that straight highs of 475, I believe, and just trade according to the resistance level. So LPCN seems to be one that's a pretty good buy at 330, but make sure um, you see that upward momentum or at least that volume being there because the volume has been pretty low on LPCN. So I'd set your alerts on when LPCN goes below 340 as it's more in the buy area. Okay, just have to update these graphs. Okay, so right now it's at 191. So pretty much it's at the lower points of this level of trading. So from 190 to 120, at least you have your 10% profit margin. Definitely does seem like it's able to hit that within 8 day or two. This is not necessarily a true penny stock, but definitely not one that I took just holding overnight. Let's look at the 52 weeks. Um, Looks like it's been on a constant, just drop down. Not too crazy, but looks like it has a safety around 180, which is most likely going to hit. So this is actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to set my alerts on when it hits 180. Most likely when it hits 180, it's going to pick back up and just give us a little bit of a spike up. And with that, I'm going to lock it in at 10%. So it's definitely one to look out for as 180 is a safety there, but it's also a resistance there. So I think that could be a critical point on where it starts to come back up, just like it did here. And not as high, most likely going to come to the $2 mark, but that's definitely at least it gives me 10% profit. Gil. Gil is one that's been holding very strong around 40 cents. Okay, so it hit lows of 39, holds very strong around 40 cents. Highs overall of 49, but again, being realistic, tends to trade and tends to hit around that 44 cent mark, 43 cent. So just know that the 39 to 40 cent area is most likely where you want to be buying. Make sure you want to buy at that upward momentum, not at that downward drop, as you know, it can go below, as you can see down here, 40 cents as it hit lows of 33. So just make sure you're buying when it's rising up, but make sure it's a good buying area, as in 38 to 39 cents, and write it up to the 43 to 44 cent margin. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Gale. Gale is one that I've traded quite often. Looks like it has a strong safety at 32 cents. A couple of our traders traded this. It does have a potential drop, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, down to 20 cents. Let me go year to date. Yeah, lows of 20, I remember correctly. So I believe 30 cents is the critical point where if it goes below 30, it can, continue dropping down. So just make sure that you're buying on the rise up, as these people did here. So I actually remember this day as our traders bought in at 32. We're able to struggle to go above 35 and then broke 35. It has up 36 and then started coming back down. And you could have seen that, it had a resistance at 35 or 36 based on its history right here. So with that being said, is once, you saw that momentum going up, you at least know where or have a better understanding of where a good sell point is, and at least lock in your 10% profit margin. So IMNP is definitely going in areas of where it could be considered a buy-in areas, just as you can see here, and it picks back up, hits here, picks back up, getting really close to hitting that, oh, we actually are right there, 32 cent mark, 32 cent area. So, just kind of look out for it on Tuesday, see if it starts picking up, and if it does, trade according to different levels of trading. Yeah, so that's. Let me go back. I've been trying to add a couple more to my watch list, but it's been pretty hectic on looking and doing these all night. Um, okay, so one thing, so we're hitting 9:30. one thing that I want to talk about for this week has been a little bit sloppier for my style of trading as I've been trying a different style of trading. Um, and there's momentum trading, there's just technical trading, so you trade according to the graphs. There's when you actually look into the companies and you do like an actual analysis and value the company, so value proposition. Um, Momentum trading is it's just very stressful because you don't know too much about the company. It makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit unsafe. Um, but that's usually where you see those traders that make a lot more money trade with momentum trading as they look into the company very quick before the pre-market, as they can see that pre-market gainers when the volume is right, like SPU and just all those companies that always have so much momentum in the open hours. Um, Something that I've been trying to do is if I really want to see a future in this, I really don't want to be trading all day, as most traders don't. Most at least successful traders that are day traders don't. So I'd like to trade and try kind of stick according to this. So this is what I'm going to be trying is within the first 2 hours of trading. Usually the first 30 minutes are the most profitable areas to trade. And if you don't catch it, within the first 30 minutes, then it's most likely you're gonna have to hope for those critical points of breaking them and writing them up and making all your gains with that. But um, I'm gonna now start trading with a little bit more money, trying to see if I could see more of a stable income with trading itself. But I definitely don't want to continue risking as much as I did this week because of my 70 to 80%, although that is considered a good success rate. I liked more of my 90 or 80 or 90 to 100% success rate for trading, even though I did less of it and my margins of profit were a lot less. I just felt safer. I felt like it could be considered more of a stable income. And for me, that was working. Um, but I also just, wanted to try momentum trading. I'm going to try it again this week, see if I could structure it a little bit better. But I just felt out of whack last week and very stressed out because I didn't really understand what I was trading. I didn't understand the companies as they were just companies that were thrown at me. I did my analysis, traded according to the analysis, and that was just stressful because I wasn't too sure or too familiar with the characteristics of the company. And, that's going to happen. Um, but pretty much what I'm saying for this week is try to discover what kind of trader you are. I know that sounds funny as many of you are more to the newer side of trading. But if you guys can discover, what kind of or what area in the market is your niche, then the easier for you it's going to be to be successful at a quicker pace. Um, and again, the hardest thing for people to see is a future in trading when you're only making, 10% of $100. If you can make 10% of $100, for a month, and you do it consistently, week after week, month after month, once you start saving your money, you start saving your pennies, and you start growing your account from ten to $20,000. That's when you're going to start seeing, with $10,000 alone, you'll start seeing $1,000 days, even with $5,000 or even $3,000. You'll start seeing $300 days, $400 days, $500 days, which are great days because I believe you need like $383 a day, 5 days a week, to hit $100,000 a year. So keeping it realistic, don't trade just because everyone else is trading a certain stock. There's been a newer trader, his name is Kevin, and huge shout outs to him. He's been doing very good at discovering new stocks, trading according to that. He's been mainly a momentum trader, and that's kind of his niche. And then that's what's led to his success in trading that certain area of penny stocks. So don't get stressed out. Stay organized. If you want to try momentum trading with us this week, then feel free to try it out. Um, but definitely say like have fun. Find like the type of trader you are. We're all at different ages. We're all going to be trading in different environments. As I've had different calls with different people. People trading like at work and at school. I don't want to promote that in any way, as in, like it could distract you from what you're supposed to be doing essentially. Um, but make it work for your lifestyle. And if you really see a future in this, and you could realistically hit 8 to 10% every single time you trade, then that's amazing. Because when you start trading with a larger account and you feel more comfortable investing, 10 to 15, $20,000, that's when you're going to be making the big bucks. And No, it's no longer going to just be a hobby, but it's going to be something you're going to be able to do from essentially, from Mountain Standard Time, 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning, 2 hours a day, being able to bring in, $1,000, $2,000, and having the rest of the day to enjoy it and being able to trade from the comfort of your home, comfort of, with a Wi-Fi connection, your computer, and, internet connection. Um, and that's really just it. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I do have some exciting news, or at least news, for the GTR. I'm actually going to be looking, for a new car. I think I'm going to go look for a new car tomorrow, um, and I'll be giving you guys some updates on the GTR. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be making more car videos as well. Um, Hope you guys have a nice and safe Labor Day, um, and we will see you at Open Tuesday morning. So thank you guys again. I hope you guys have a good Sunday.